guys? Welcome back to P&W Guitar, and it is almost 2024. So today I'm going to do a little yearly recap, talking about gear, talking about my experiences playing music, writing music, playing in a band, doing the YouTube stuff. So without further ado, let's get started. And today I'm going to be recapping my year of 2023, doing YouTube, doing music, and just my full experience with all of my stuff. So my year started out, and I was really wanting to learn more about music theory. So that's how my year started. I started taking guitar lessons, and I started learning more practical theory that I could use with writing and with creating music for my band. Right around that same time, my band was getting a little bit more serious, so I wanted to increase my skills both with guitar and with singing, and I took vocal lessons from my good friend Zach Anderson, and then my guitar teacher was Elliot Vernon, both amazing teachers, and both were the type of teachers that really spoke to me. I think the important part that I wanted to mention about that is just how important it is, if you're going to find someone to teach you and tutor you in something, to find somebody who is not only a good communicator and knows what they're talking about, but someone who communicates in a way that you understand. And that was my biggest challenge with the guitar teachers in the past and vocal teachers in the past, is that I was having a really hard time finding somebody that understood what my issues were and the things that I was struggling with and how to coach me through those efficiently. So that was really awesome for me. I happened to find two amazing teachers in 1 year, and from that I was able to increase my skills, understand music theory better, understand writing better, and just overall do a much better job of writing and playing music. On to lesson number 2, gear. So this year I went through a whole bunch of gear. I went on kind of a spree of purchasing things on the used market, putting a rig together, recording an album, writing songs with my band, playing live, and that experience taught me a whole bunch. The first thing that I learned was that the gear that you use is not nearly as important as knowing how to use it. I've never been someone who's really good at dialing in my amps or my pedals, and it's taken a lot of practice this year and in the past just to screw around and try to figure out how they work. And to be honest, it's still a journey that I'm on, so it's something that I've been working on very consistently. You can see up on my shelves here, I've got all my pedals. At the beginning of this year, I had all my pedals and I was running them into my Boss Katana amp that I have over here. From there, we played our first show. And the Katana worked awesome as a pedal platform amp, and it was plenty loud and it felt awesome and it sounded great. But something in me, and this is probably that gear acquisition syndrome thing that players have, and also that bug in the little back of my head, I just like, I think I need a tube amp. So I ended up purchasing a PRS MT15. And that's the amp that I used to record my band's first 2 small EP with a couple singles that we did, and it was also the amp that I used in all of our practicing and recording and everything up until that point. And that amp, once again, sounded awesome. The lead channel was fire breathing, the clean channel was a great pedal platform, and I used my same pedal board that I had used into the Katana with that, and that's what we recorded with. If you checked out one of my previous videos, I ran through some of my tones. The Noble's ODR1 that I have right back there was actually the main crunch sound on our single Lie to Me, which I think is the best sounding guitar part that we have so far recorded. And that was a pedal that was very new to me. It was one of those things I heard about. It was like the Nashville overdrive pedal. So I purchased it, I tried it, I loved it. It's an awesome sounding pedal. And I had actually a number of pedals on my board that I really like to talk about. So the first one being, actually maybe I'll pull them down. The first one that I really want to talk about that surprised me the most this year was this, the Electro-Harmonix small clone. I really wanted a chorus, and while I couldn't find a Boss CE2 for a reasonable price, this one kept coming up on people's lists that were awesome, and I decided to pull the trigger. I found one used for a good price and I purchased it, and I cannot overestimate how impressed I was with it. This is an amazing sounding chorus, and it's also super simple. It just has a depth switch and the knob to increase the rate. And you could get everything on this from a really subtle chorus sound all the way up to something really intense. Even to the level that if you're familiar with chorus, like I wasn't previous to getting this pedal, if you increase the rate knob really, really high, it actually sounds like a rotary cabinet. So that was a really cool pedal that I tried out this year. I loved it. It was actually one of the main ones that I ended up using for a lot of our live shows. Another one I want to mention here is another Electro-Harmonix pedal, the Pitchfork. This thing is absolutely awesome. It has the capabilities to go up, down, or up and down an octave. Actually, I think up to 3 octaves. And everything in between. from a minor second all the way up to a major seventh. And I kept it on the momentary option, so you just push the switch down when you want it to activate. And in conjunction with this little guy, the Op Amp Big Muff, also by Electro Harmonics, I had a sweet octave fuzz sound. I really enjoyed playing with it. It sounded incredible. And I've never actually got more compliments on my tone than using this Big Muff. So that was another one that I was really happy to acquire. And this one I've had for a while, but throwing it on my pedal board this year and using it, I was not disappointed at all. And then one of my last Electro Harmonics pedals here that I was really, really impressed with and really enjoyed using was the Ocean's 11. Now this thing is a really, really amazing reverb pedal. It's got so many options, so many functions. And my whole point of putting my rig together this year was really wanting something that was as versatile as I could possibly make it. So that came from the guitar, from the amp, from all the pedals I was using. I wanted to be able to get the most combinations of tones possible, and this thing was an absolutely incredible option to throw on the board. It does a slapback reverb really well. It does the spring reverb, like you can play those cowboy kind of spaghetti western songs. And my actual favorite option on here that I didn't realize I was going to like when I picked it up was the shimmer reverb. Just sounds incredible, very much like that clip in the beginning of this video. It's got like that ethereal sound, and it's just fucking awesome. So if you guys haven't checked one of these out, absolutely do. And a couple more here. I wanted to jump into the overdrives that I was using this year. So I already mentioned the Nobels ODR1. This is a pedal that I was very new to. I've never owned a Tube Screamer. I did have a Bad Monkey that I sold earlier this year as well. And that was a whole nother story. When I went to sell that was right around the time that the JHS video about the Bad Monkeys came up. And I listed the pedal for about $70, which is roughly what I paid for it. And I ended up selling it for that. But I actually did get, in accordance with that, about 35 messages from people that didn't even want to purchase the pedal, but they just wanted to say thank you to me for not overinflating the price based on the fact that some of them were being sold at that time for $500 and $600, which made no sense to me because it's a cheap pedal. And while it was cool, this thing was super awesome and didn't make me miss the Bad Monkey at all. This thing's an amazing overdrive, and I'm really glad that I have it. Definitely going to hold on to it. Now the next one I'd like to talk about is a pedal that I picked up for about $30, missing about half the knobs, so I had to replace those, but that is the DS1. And I didn't have a distortion pedal on my board, but this one turned out to be really, really versatile, and I didn't actually expect that. I was just looking for something cheap, something that I could throw around and didn't have to worry too much about. That's exactly the kind of reputation Boss has, is that their stuff is just built like a brick shithouse, and that is exactly what this thing did. What really shocked me was the tone knob being such an important integral part of how you get the tones that you want out of this, and it made it so interesting when you turn that knob, how many different versions of the sound that you wanted you could get. So it was awesome. So if you haven't tried a DS1, try it out. It's a fantastic distortion pedal. Another one I can mention here is the one I'm actually going to be giving away, sadly, and it's not because it's not a good pedal, but it's just because it's got some crossover with the other ones that I have, and I just feel like it might be better put to use by someone else, and that is the Wampler Tumnus Deluxe. I got this because I jumped on the bandwagon really hard this year of trying to get like the Dumble sound and also trying to get the Klon Centaur sound, and this is a Klon Centaur clone. It also has a switch on the side here. I don't know if you can see that. That adds an extra gain stage into it, I believe, but man, this thing is just absolutely amazing sounding. It looks really cool. It's got little Mr. Tumnus on there. It's a kick-ass pedal that sounds awesome. It looks really cool. It's got a whole bunch of extra options that a regular Klon doesn't have, and it can really pull the Klon sound off. So if you're looking for a really clean overdrive, you really can't get a lot better than this one. So if you want to be entered to win this pedal, like and subscribe. Once I hit 500 subscribers, I'm going to be giving this one away. So if you want a chance to win that, all you gotta do is subscribe, and that is it. All right, so option number 3, the third thing I'd like to talk about today is recording. I have had very minimal experience recording music in the past, and this year was the first time that I was going into a studio and not only recording, but recording my own material. So going in, I was nervous. I had 2 other guys with me from my band, Chris and Isaac. We were absolutely green to the studio. Like I said, I have been in a recording studio about twice in my life prior to this, and mostly in a student kind of role. I went to a school that had a recording department, so they had a recording industry arts program, and there I had a buddy who was in that program, and he really wanted to become a producer. He asked me to come in. We cut a cover of a Rage Against the Machine song, Bulls on Parade, and while that was really fun, I had nothing to do with anything besides just running in and playing the song, and that was pretty much it. So in this case, I had written the songs, organized everybody, I had hired the producer, and there's just so many moving bits and pieces that went along with it. And when it came to actually playing, it was really nerve-wracking, and I wanted to make sure I was really well prepared. Me and the band had been playing together quite a bit before that, making sure that we were tight, making sure that we had all our parts down, and there were still some little bits and pieces that we needed to work on. But I have to say, if you haven't gone into the recording studio, you never know what you're playing really sounds like until it's under a microphone and you hear it in playback. It is unbelievable the difference that it makes. You hear everything just so much better. You hear the pickups of your guitar, you hear all the little string noises and how much you're muting or how much you're not, the character of the pedals and the amps that you're using. I used the PRS MT15 on the clean channel for the recordings that I did. It sounded awesome. The producer commented on how great he thought the amp sounded, and I felt like I came prepared, and that was really a big deal for me, so I could just focus on the playing. My pedals were all ready to go. I had all my settings where I liked them. We adjusted them only the tiniest little bit. And I was really well prepared when it came to playing the songs, practiced. Everything went really smoothly on my part with the vocals and with the playing of the guitar. And it was a great experience. And it's something I really look forward to doing again in the near future. I've got a lot of other songs I'm working on. I'm demoing right now from my studio here at home. And that was another thing, is that learning the workflow in a studio actually really helped me when I'm doing tracks here for my YouTube videos and also for demoing songs that I'm going to take into the band. It's been a wonderful experience, and I definitely recommend trying that out if you haven't. And that brings me to part 4 of this year that was a big deal for me, actually songwriting and also fronting a band. So I'm going to put a slash in there, songwriting / fronting a band. There's 2 things that I had, once again, not a whole lot of experience doing. I've always written songs, but I've never actually finished them, and that was a big thing that I learned this year. Was at a certain point, you just have to call it. You have to be happy with what you're putting out there. And it's not that you don't want to put your best foot forward and the best work that you can forward, because you absolutely do. But the biggest thing when it comes to writing music and playing with other people is just being able to make a decision. There is nothing more important than being able to say, this is what we're doing, this is what the sound is going to be, this is what the chord change is going to be, this is what the melody is going to be. Like, just being able to make that decision is so important. And I've become very proud of myself this year for being able to put myself in a position where I feel comfortable being the shot caller in a lot of situations. And that's just been such an important process for me to step out of my comfort zone. As far as fronting a band is concerned, I was a little bit scared about going up and performing on stage, as I think a lot of people would be. I think that's actually one of most people's phobias when they're a kid, is going up and speaking in front of people. And well, I was not only doing that, but I was going to be the focus of the entire show. I was addressing the crowd. I was calling up the song names. I was starting us out for most of the songs, talking to the audience, and having to remember to call out the venues and the organizers, the event coordinators, all that good stuff. So it was a lot of work, and it's something that I practiced a lot. It was actually something we practiced in our band rehearsal space as well. Was I practiced some of the banter between the songs because I was really concerned that I would blank and not have anything to say. And from the feedback that I've received from people seemed to reflect the fact that I did a pretty good job practicing that. It's still something I'm getting better at today, and it's something I want to work on moving into 2024. But I'm so much further ahead than I thought I would be this past year, and I'm very happy with that. So outside of that, I just wanted to say that I previously mentioned my gear. I was also on a weird journey where I've been kind of trying to, now that I had my kind of complicated pedal board, there was a couple times where I had issues where chords came loose or things weren't powering properly or the pedal order got funky and I wasn't sure how to work that out. Once I kind of learned all of those steps and like how to adjust the pedals and what order to put them in and kind of set up my gear appropriately, I came to a point where everything I was carrying was really heavy. I was carrying an amp, I was carrying a pedal board bag, I was carrying my guitar case, and while that's not moving a drum set like some people have to do, it's still a lot. And I realized that I just wanted to have like a very simple setup. So what I ended up doing is putting all my pedals away, and I ended up purchasing a Line 6 Helix. I'd never used modelers really before, minus my first practice amp was a Fender Mustang, so it had some of that kind of technology in it, but this was a whole other beast. We had to go through and learn how to program it and everything, and that was a big learning tool for me too, is going through and learning how to set up the Helix, because there's so many ways to do it. So you can do it in any way that you want, but starting out from square one, I had to jump on YouTube and learn it all from scratch. Jason Sudeikis, I'd love to give him a big shout out if you haven't checked out his Helix videos and it's a product that you use. His stuff is incredible. He goes through in so much detail. Ryan Bruce, Fluff, is another guy that I looked at his videos quite a bit to see how to set up presets. There's a lot of information out there. I also joined the Facebook group for the Line 6 Helix owners, and that was another wonderful learning platform for me. So anybody who's part of any of those groups or anybody that I named, thank you so much. You helped me learn how to use the Helix and become comfortable with that. And it's something that I use every time I record, every time I play now, and it's become my go-to. So my rig went from a guitar, an amp, pedalboard, pedals, power, all that stuff, to just the Helix and my guitar, and that's it. And I plug the guitar into the Helix, I run an XLR from the Helix to front of house, or into the mixing board when we're practicing, and that is my entire setup, and it's so much lighter, easier, simpler. I'm so happy with the sounds, and that's pretty much culminated the way that my year is ending. I'm learning more about the Helix. Even today I was playing around with it to get the tones that I was looking for, and now I'm at the point that I'm very happy with that. So yeah, I am very much looking forward to this next year, to learning more, to writing more, to creating more, and I hope you guys are too. Thank you for joining me here on P&W Guitar. I'm very happy that this is my first year creating on YouTube on a consistent basis. I'm going to keep it up. If you guys like the videos, comment, like, and subscribe. Like I said, if you want to be entered to win that pedal, do that. I will see you guys next year. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and I will catch you in 2024. Bye!